Let me tell you a beautiful story. Story of the 3 trees. Once upon a mountain top, 3 little trees stood and dreamed of what they wanted to become when they grow up. The first little tree looked up at the stars and said, "I want to hold treasure. I want to be covered with gold and filled with all that is precious. Then I'll be the most beautiful treasure chest in the world." A second little tree looked out at the small stream trickling on its way to the ocean. "I want to be traveling mighty waters, carrying powerful kings. I'll be the strongest ship in the world." The third little tree looked down into the valley below, where busy men and women worked in a busy field. "I don't want to leave the mountain top at all. I want to grow so tall that when people stop to look at me, then they'll raise their eyes to heaven and think of God. I'll be the tallest tree in the world." Years passed. The rains came, the sun shone, and the little trees grew tall. One day, 3 woodcutters climbed the mountain. The first woodcutter looked at the first tree and said, "This tree is beautiful. One day, 3 is beautiful. It is perfect for me." With a swoop of his shining axe, the first tree fell. "Now I shall be made into a beautiful chest. I shall hold wonderful treasure," the first tree said. The second woodcutter looked at the second tree and said, "This tree is strong, perfect for me." With a swoop of his shining axe, the second tree fell. "Now I shall sail mighty waters," thought the second tree. "I shall be a strong ship for mighty kings." The third tree felt her heart sink when the last woodcutter looked at her. She stood straight and tall and pointed bravely to heaven. But the woodcutter never even looked up. "Any kind of tree will do for me," he said. With a swoop of his shining axe, the third tree fell. The first tree rejoiced when the woodcutter brought her to the carpenter's shop. But the carpenter only fashioned her, the tree, into a feed box for animals. The once beautiful tree was not covered with gold, nor with treasure. She was coated with sawdust and filled with hay for hungry farm animals. The second tree smiled when the woodcutter took her to the shipyard, but no mighty ship sailed that day. Instead, the once strong tree was hammered and sawn into a simple fishing boat. She was too small and too weak to sail on the ocean, or even a river. Instead, she was taken to a little lake. The third tree was confused when the woodcutter cut her into strong beams and left her in the lumberyard. "What happened?" the once tall tree wondered. "All I ever wanted was to stay on the mountain top and point to God." Many, many days and nights passed. 3 trees nearly forgot their dreams. But one night, golden starlight poured over the first tree as a young woman placed a newborn baby into the feed box. "I wish I could make a cradle for him," the husband whispered. The mother squeezed his hand and smiled as the starlight shone on the smooth and sturdy wood. "The manger is beautiful," she said. And suddenly the first tree knew he was holding the greatest treasure in the world. One evening, a tired traveller and his friends crowded into the old fishing boat. The traveller fell asleep as the second tree quietly sailed out into the lake. Soon a thundering and thrashing storm arose. The little tree shuddered. She knew she did not have the strength to carry so many passengers safely through the wind and the rain. The tired traveller wakened He stood up, stretched out his hand and said, "Quiet! Be still!" The storm stopped as suddenly as it had begun. And suddenly, the second tree knew he was carrying the greatest king of all, the King of Kings. One Friday morning, the third tree was startled when her beams were yanked from the forgotten woodpile. She flinched as she was carried through an angry, jeering crowd. She shuddered when the soldiers nailed a man's hands and feet to her. She felt ugly, harsh, and cruel. But on Sunday morning, when the sun rose and the earth trembled with joy beneath her, the third tree knew that God's love had changed everything. It made the third tree strong. Every time people thought of the third tree, they would think of God. That was better than being the tallest tree in the world. So, the next time you feel down because you didn't get what you want, sit tight and be happy because God has something better for you.